In 2015, I went to the Silverback Open, one of the biggest breaking jams in the world. And that weekend, I saw a lot of the best dancers in the scene. But out of the dozens of battles I saw, this one stood out to me and many others as the battle of the night. It wasn't that these two dancers were the best there. It was something more than that. This battle got so much attention because it was a true conversation between two people that don't even speak the same language. And their conversation told the story of growing old, of the space between generations. The two characters in our story are Shigekix and Hong Ten. Shigekix, who's off screen right now, is 15 years old, and this jam is his international debut. He's gotten some attention for being a young prodigy, but wasn't well known outside of his native Japan. On the other hand, Hong Ten, who we see here, is a 31-year-old veteran who's inarguably one of the best b-boys in the world, and is a favorite to win the whole jam. So with that in mind, we can watch Shigekix's response to Hong Ten, and he starts with this move. The rest of his round is solid, and in an unexpected upset, Shigekix actually wins that first round in this best of 3. Hong Ten's reply though is what makes this battle so significant. The first thing he does is he does the same move that Shigekix just did, with a little extra at the end. Then he gets up and calls a bite. In breaking, the bite sign is how dancers signify that the other guy is doing moves that don't belong to them. In this case, Hong Ten is saying that Shigekix bit that move from him. I don't think that was Shigekix's intention. Maybe he was just trying to pay tribute to a b-boy that he respects. After all, Hong Ten has been a force in the scene for over a decade. It's hard to imagine that he wouldn't have inspired Shigekix. But regardless of the motivation, this bite sign compressed all of that into a wordless exchange, and it's a message that every breaker in the room understood immediately. But despite this accusation, Hong Ten doesn't really look mad. In fact, he actually looks kind of amused. When he starts his next round, he gives Shigekix a pat on the back, and then another one later on. I think it's because Hong Ten sees a lot of himself in Shigekix. Like Shigekix, Hong Ten was also considered a breaking prodigy, and was on the winning crew in 2002's Battle of the Year at the age of 18. So he doesn't pull any punches on this fellow prodigy, and over the next 2 rounds, he throws signature move after signature move to win the battle decisively. Now, maybe this was overkill. He probably didn't have to go as hard as he did, and it would have been smart to pace himself, considering that after this battle, he would still have 3 more battles to go through to get to the finals. But I saw this as a sign of respect from Hong Ten, and a recognition of the next generation of b-boys that Shigekix represents. This clash between generations is what makes this battle resonate with me so strongly. It's a story that goes beyond breaking into a core aspect of life. Every generation grows up under the previous, makes their mark on the world, and then sees the next one come in to eventually replace them. And we saw this story acted out between these two dancers. To me, this battle was Hong Ten recognizing Shigekix as that next generation, while simultaneously saying, not yet. What I mean by this is that in 2015 at the Silverback Open, Hong Ten would have won that battle 99 times out of 100. But 3 years later, at that same jam, they met again, and they had a battle that paralleled their first meeting, with the two of them throwing a lot of the same moves that they did the first time around. But this time, Shigekix came out the winner, beating out a Hong Ten who honestly looked kind of tired. Now, to be fair, it was probably just a bad day for Hong Ten. After this battle, he went on to win the 3v3 bracket of that same jam the next day, while also beating Shigekix's team. And then he won the 2v2 for freestyle sessions, the largest jam on the West Coast. And he was also on the winning crew for both Battle of the Year and Super Break, 2 massive jams in Asia. But whether it was a bad day for Hong Ten or not, the fact is that as time goes on, Shigekix will continue to improve, and Hong Ten will eventually be too old to dance. That 99% win rate is gonna go down until someday Shigekix will be the one who wins that battle every time. And someday that same will happen to him. It's a story that's as old as time. We'll all have to see our heroes get old. We're gonna have to replace them, whether we're ready or not. And someday we'll be the ones who get replaced. It's a fact of life. The only thing we can be sure of is that nothing lasts forever.